Hello everyone. In today's video, we will explore one of the deepest concepts of Carl Jung, a famous psychoanalyst who changed the way we view ourselves and our life's purpose. We will learn how the shadow, or the dark side of each person, is not just a part of our psychology, but also a key to helping us discover and live in alignment with our true purpose. If you feel lost or unsure about your life's purpose, this video may serve as an important stepping stone in finding the answer. The shadow and self-recognition. Carl Jung pointed out that the purpose of life is to ignite a flame of meaning in the darkness of mere existence. So, what is the shadow? It is the psychological part of us that we are unaware of, the darkness within us that not everyone dares to face. This does not mean the shadow is simply negative or evil. It is simply the parts we hide from ourselves, aspects we do not want to accept or are even unaware of. To truly recognize our shadow, we need to start with powerful and deep questions. Why do I feel angry when someone behaves irrationally? Or, why do I feel uncomfortable when witnessing someone express arrogance, laziness, or impulsiveness? These questions are not just fleeting thoughts. They are gateways to discovering a part of the soul that we often avoid, the shadow. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, is not just darkness or negativity, but parts of the self that we are unwilling to acknowledge or lack the courage to face. When we feel frustrated, angry, or dissatisfied with someone, we are actually projecting light onto our own shadow, the hidden darkness deep within. Jung pointed out that we often react strongly to others' qualities because these qualities reflect things we are unwilling to accept in ourselves. For example, when you see someone acting arrogantly or selfishly, you might feel uncomfortable. But in reality, this is not necessarily due to that person's actions, but because you are seeing a part of yourself that you have not yet accepted. You might also have similar feelings, but have never allowed yourself to admit it. When Jung said that the shadow is the unconscious parts of our soul, he was referring not only to negative emotions, but also to abilities, talents, or dreams that we have not explored or are afraid to confront. Recognizing the shadow requires a process called self-realization. This is the first step in facing ourselves sincerely. This is not an easy journey. There will be moments when you feel pain or discomfort as you confront aspects you have hidden. However, it is through this process that you will begin to understand yourself better and realize that the shadow is not the enemy, but an essential part of the journey of self-improvement. Self-awareness will not happen overnight. It is a long process that requires courage and perseverance. But when you begin to face your shadow, you will realize that it contains not only negative aspects, but also where you can find latent strengths, unexplored abilities. These can become a solid foundation for your growth and for living a more meaningful life. Thus, when we learn to recognize and confront our shadow, we not only understand ourselves better, but also can apply this understanding to our daily lives to become a better version of ourselves. The shadow is not something to fear. It is an essential part of exploring our life's purpose and undertaking the journey of personal growth. Each of us has things we do not want to face, emotions, behaviors, or thoughts that we deem inappropriate. These might include anger, laziness, or even jealousy. Jung believed that when we deny these parts, they do not disappear. Instead, they silently influence our lives. Self-awareness and accepting the shadow. When you embark on the journey of self-awareness, you are not only learning about yourself, but also learning to accept the darker parts of your soul. Jung once said, "You will only understand the light if you know about the darkness." Accepting the shadow does not mean we have to live by these dark parts, but rather that we acknowledge their existence and learn to deal with them. Imagine a situation you often encounter in life. You feel angry when someone disrespects you, perhaps a colleague, friend, or even a family member. You might feel frustrated, irritable, or even uncomfortable to the point of not being able to control your emotions. However, instead of just viewing your anger as a manifestation of dissatisfaction or lack of respect from others, try seeing it from another perspective. This feeling of anger is actually a signal from within, alerting you that something inside of you needs attention and understanding. When you feel angry, it's not a bad or negative emotion. In fact, anger is simply a sign of a lack of self-respect, something you might not have realized. You may be lacking self-esteem, or perhaps you feel that your worth isn't being recognized properly by others. These emotions, though uncomfortable, are actually opportunities for you to dig deeper into your feelings and begin a journey of self-awareness. Instead of letting anger control you, a smarter approach is to use this anger as a tool for self-improvement. When you realize that anger is merely an expression of a lack of self-respect, you can start addressing the issue not by taking it out on others, but by asking yourself, why do I feel disrespected? What can I do to increase my self-esteem and self-worth? This is how you transform anger into motivation for growth and change. One way to approach this is to look at your relationships and identify the factors that make you feel disrespected. It might be a lack of communication, a lack of recognition, or even actions that you feel lack consideration. But instead of blaming others, you can begin by looking inward. The question to ask yourself is, am I respecting myself enough to ask for respect from others? When you elevate your own level of self-esteem and self-respect, you will notice that anger will no longer be an automatic reaction. You will no longer feel the need to lash out, but instead, you will act calmly and purposefully, using your self-esteem as a tool to improve the quality of your relationships. This awareness is an important step in the journey of personal development. When you view your anger proactively and positively, you not only recognize your shadow but also learn how to use it to propel your growth. Negative emotions like anger or frustration can become powerful signals, guiding you towards self-awareness and positive change. This doesn't mean you deny your emotions, but rather, you learn to handle them intelligently and responsibly. In reality, when you learn to face your anger and see it as an opportunity for growth, you not only become stronger in your personal life, but also enhance your ability to cope with challenges in work and relationships. Anger, instead of becoming an element that causes you to lose control, will become a powerful tool that helps you recognize your deeper values and desires, leading you to make wiser decisions and build the life you truly want. Therefore, identifying and accepting your shadow, including emotions like anger, is the first step in understanding and changing yourself. When you begin to consciously and positively use anger, you not only gain a deeper understanding of yourself, but also have the ability to adjust your life in a more positive direction. Integrating the shadow, embracing all parts of yourself. Jung asserted that the purpose of life is not to achieve great accomplishments or external success, but to achieve inner harmony. This harmony comes from accepting and integrating the shadow into life. This doesn't mean you have to let your negative traits dominate, but rather, it means understanding that they can help you grow holistically. When you begin to learn to accept the darker parts of yourself, the emotions, behaviors, and thoughts you might have avoided or denied before, you are truly embarking on a powerful process of growth. This process involves confronting the parts of yourself that you often don't want to face, but they hold the key to creating a conscious and controlled life. Interestingly, these darker parts can be a source of latent power that you can tap into, as long as you are willing to face them without fear. Accepting the darker parts of yourself doesn't mean you have to love them, but it means acknowledging that they exist and influence your life. When you can view them objectively and without judgment, you will no longer be controlled by them. For example, when faced with anger, a very powerful emotion that can easily cause us to lose control, you will no longer allow anger to guide your behavior. Instead, you will understand that anger is simply a signal, a natural feeling when you feel hurt or disrespected. When you accept anger as part of the self-awareness process, you can control your emotions rather than let them control you. You can pause, take a deep breath, and think before acting, thus making wiser decisions without letting emotions take charge. Another example is laziness, a part of the shadow that many people tend to avoid. However, when you understand and accept your laziness, you will no longer feel guilty or disappointed when you need rest. Instead of thinking you're wasting time, you can recognize that your body and mind are calling for relaxation. Sometimes, allowing yourself to rest is the way to recharge, regenerate creativity, and improve long-term work performance. Laziness isn't always a negative trait. It can be a sign that you need to take better care of yourself. Accepting your shadow not only helps you manage emotions better, but also allows you to face life calmly and purposefully. When you recognize the darker parts within yourself, you no longer run from them but learn to confront and master them. You don't need to be perfect, but you will become proactive in your life, standing strong against challenges and adjusting your behavior to serve your goals and personal values. This process is not easy and requires courage, but it is an important step on the path to maturity. When you confront and accept your shadow, you will develop inner strength and self-control. You will no longer be passive in life, but instead, you will decide how to react to every situation. You will not let anger, laziness, or any other dark part of yourself make you lose control. Instead, you will learn to use them as tools for self-development and achieving greater goals. In doing so, you will not only become stronger but also live a meaningful and peaceful life, free from the control of unwanted emotions and behaviors. So, accepting the shadow is not just about understanding and befriending the darker parts of yourself, but about harnessing them to create a life you can control and enjoy. When you achieve this, you not only become a better version of yourself, but you can also positively influence those around you, creating a positive cycle of growth and self-awareness. Taking action, do what you say. Carl Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you say you will do." Once you've become self-aware and acknowledge the darker parts of yourself, the next step is action. The purpose of life cannot be found solely in thoughts. It must be expressed through real actions. If you want to be an author, it's important not to just wait for inspiration to strike. Inspiration comes naturally in a moment, but to truly be a creator, you must understand that success doesn't come only from moments of excitement or emotional highs. In fact, if you always wait until you feel ready or until inspiration finds you, it will be very difficult to make progress. Instead, you need to take action persistently and with a plan. One of the key elements to success in any field, especially creativity, is getting to work, even when you don't feel ready. Don't wait for emotions to come. Create action instead. Sit down and start writing, even if your emotions aren't perfect at the moment. You may feel unsure, or you may doubt your abilities, but that's precisely when you need to push yourself past the barrier of procrastination. Every word you write is not just a step forward in becoming an author, but a way to face your insecurities and overcome them. Moreover, if you encounter difficulties in the creative process, which will happen, don't worry. Instead of standing still and sinking into a rut, you need to seek help. Don't be afraid to ask for advice from those who have gone before you, those who have gone through the process you're beginning. Learn from their experiences, take their advice, and apply their lessons to your work. The way they overcame challenges, the way they conquered self-doubt, could very well be the real inspiration you need. Action, in this case, is not just about taking a specific step in your work. It is a way of integrating the lessons of the shadow into your daily life. Your shadow is made up of those darker parts you don't want to face, but when you learn to confront them, you'll be able to use them as motivation rather than barriers. If you fear failure, that's part of the shadow you need to recognize and overcome. If you doubt your creativity, that's when you need to accept that no one is perfect, and starting with small steps is the best way to move forward. In life and work, you must learn to create opportunities proactively instead of waiting for them to come. You cannot wait for everything to be perfect before taking action. Action is a strategic decision. It's about choosing to step out of the comfort zone of waiting and creating an environment for yourself to grow. Every decision to act, whether it's writing a page or learning more knowledge, is an opportunity to get closer to your goals. The more you act, the more you'll discover opportunities and solutions, instead of just sitting still and waiting. This is how you apply the lessons of the shadow to real life. Your shadow may hold doubts, fears, or even a sense of potential failure. But when you confront and overcome these feelings, you'll realize that action is the key to breaking through all limits, all walls that seem insurmountable. And when you proactively take action, you'll receive results beyond your expectations, not only in your creative career but in life itself. Embracing fear. Confronting fear. Jung said, "Where there is fear, there lies your task." Action requires us to face fear. Fear is an inseparable part of the journey of life and the search for purpose. Confront it instead of avoiding it. Embracing fear does not mean allowing it to dominate your life or living in a state of constant anxiety and hesitation. In fact, accepting fear is not something you do to let it control you, but rather recognizing that it will always be present when you decide to step out of your comfort zone and venture into the unknown. This is truly an awakening, an understanding that every time you confront fear, you are opening a door that leads to a journey filled with challenges, but also full of opportunities and deep meaning. Fear is often viewed as a negative force, something we wish to avoid. However, fear is not always an enemy. It is an essential part of the process of growing and self-discovery. Every time you dare to face your fear, you are learning to overcome your own limitations. You are mastering the emotions and thoughts that may have previously held you back, causing you to freeze or run away. When you embrace fear, you are not only confronting it, but also turning it into a source of motivation for growth. You realize that even when anxiety arises, it is not a sign of weakness, but evidence of courage. Think about the moments in your life, the important decisions you've made, whether it's changing jobs, starting a new project, or even entering a relationship. All of these decisions have a common element. They touch upon fear. But instead of letting that fear hold you back, you chose to step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. This shows that fear is not a sign of failure, but a signal that you are growing. It reminds you that every new step requires accepting risk and the accompanying worries. But it is precisely these steps that bring you closer to true freedom and success. The fear of stepping outside your comfort zone is not just a feeling of uncertainty. It is also a part of the process you are undergoing to become a better version of yourself. This is particularly important for those who are seeking change in their lives, those who don't want to just live quietly, but instead want to live fully and meaningfully. They understand that challenges and uncomfortable steps will always be there, but through these challenges, they will learn more about themselves and what they are truly capable of achieving. When you face fear, you are not just embarking on a difficult journey, but also opening up opportunities for spiritual and emotional growth. It is when you learn to be patient with yourself, to become comfortable with uncertainty, and to face discomfort without being controlled by it. When you dare to confront negative emotions, you learn to manage them instead of letting them control you. And it is in these moments that you realize that true growth does not come from comfort, but from the ability to face and overcome fear. The journey of confronting fear is not just a personal battle. It is part of the ongoing process of learning and development. It is an investment in yourself that will yield long-lasting value. Embracing fear may be difficult, but it is the only way to step out of your comfort zone and experience the wonderful things life has to offer. As Jung said, life is not always just about moments of happiness and success. Life is a blend of light and darkness. It is from this fusion that we can discover our true purpose. Remember, when you understand and integrate your shadow, you become a more complete person, living a life with deeper meaning. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might need it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.